The reason why I was so upset about this whole thing was the way Meg Thee Stallion carried it. If somebody has a gun and they point it in your direction, I don't care if they're shooting at your feet. I don't care if the gun is completely empty of bullets and they're pointing it at you, a real gun. That person is not for you at all.
Welcome back to Rightly So. If you haven't heard the news, but I'm sure you have, it's been a high-profile case that Tory Lanez have been found guilty on all 3 charges.
Yes, he has. So Tory Lanez has been found guilty, and what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through the facts, right? Because there's a lot of people who are angry about the verdict, whether Tory Lanez should have been guilty, whether he should have been innocent, whether Meg should be put on trial, all that good stuff. So let's just go through the facts.
Let's just talk about how you lift your mic.
I do it when I get excited. I get excited. That's how you know I'm okay. Like, I get excited. I lift it. So anyways, right? So the facts of the case are Tory Lanez was found guilty. He was found guilty on 3 felony charges. Those 3 felony charges are possession of a concealed unregistered firearm, assault with a semi-automatic firearm, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence, right?
Yes.
So all that together holds 22 to 23 years in prison, right? Is Tory Lanez going to do that? He's not going to do that.
Not at all. Not
right?
23 years.
He's not going to do 22, 23 years. I've been seeing posts about people talking about free Tory, all this good stuff. I don't know if you should say that, right? But at the same time, he's not going to do that long. He's probably going to do about 2 to 3 years, right?
Yeah. And I feel like that's a stretch.
Right. And he might not even do that. He might do a year, year and a half, and some probation and stuff like that. But the worst thing that he's looking at is this possession of a concealed and unregistered firearm where they can possibly deport him, right? So that's the issue. So let's just clear that air right now. Of course, we're not going to find out. When are we going to find out?
We're going to find out January 27th is when he does the sentencing.
And so January 27th, we're going to find out his sentencing. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be 22, 23 years.
No, definitely not.
Right? So let's go into his father. His father made a good point. Here it is.
And they never produced the prints, no fingerprints, not one. Tell me how the bullets disappear in the LAPD's office. Tell me how there's no fingerprints. My God Almighty, I call heaven and earth to be a record today. That Rock Nation, you will crumble. I am an apostle of God, and you will know who I am.
So his father, as you can see in that video, he was saying that they didn't have any prints and they didn't have any DNA, right? So let's just talk about prints just for a second. Fingerprints. When it comes to fingerprints, when it comes to your skin, your body secretes oils, right? When it comes to your body secreting oils and being on any type of surface, your prints don't come off as clean as they may seem in crime movies and stuff like that. So you might be able to see a fingerprint, but that doesn't mean that you're seeing the whole 100% fingerprint.
Right.
You might be seeing a partial fingerprint.
So they couldn't use it in court?
So they might not have been able to use it. They have prints. They have fingerprints. They have DNA. But the fingerprints that they have aren't enough of a match to be able to be shown in the courts. It happens most of the time. I'm prior law enforcement. I know firsthand. You can take fingerprints off of a whole bunch of different stuff where you can see the fingerprint clear as day, but it's not there 100%. You also clean your weapon with oil. So if that weapon was ever clean or anything like that, it has its own oils on it, which will also disrupt the fingerprints, right? DNA, they have DNA evidence that put Tory Lanez at the scene of the crime. Obviously, they have video evidence that show Tory Lanez at the scene of the crime. But the DNA evidence that they have has nothing. It's not enough to fall into this frame charges that he has, right? So that's that part. Of course, his dad was speaking like that. He's passionate about his son.
Yeah, his son just was found guilty.
Exactly. His son was found guilty. If that was my dad, your parent, mom, whatever like that, they would be just as passionate whether you were guilty or not, right? That's just the love that a father has for his son, right? Not saying that he's wrong or anything like that, but his emotions are going high, of course. Facts of the case now, right? So what are the facts of the case? The facts of the case are few and far between, but we have a couple of them, right? Simple facts that we have is that Tory Lanez, Kelsey Harris, the bodyguard, and Meg Thee Stallion were in the SUV. We know that for a fact. The other thing that we know is that Tory Lanez was sitting in the passenger seat, Meg Thee Stallion was sit in the rear passenger, Kelsey Harris was sit in the driver rear of the SUV. The other fact that we have is Meg's hospital records saying that she had bullets in her foot. So she was shot, right? Those are the facts, that she was shot.
So the fact that they always bring up the fact of where they were sitting in the SUV always throws me off because, like, of course, she got shot. At one point, they're all gonna get out the car. So I feel like where they were sitting shouldn't matter in court.
Right, and that's the thing, because they have so many holes in the story of her getting out of the car, getting back in the car. A witness said that all three of them got out of the car. They were beating her up, then they got back in the car, whatever.
Yeah.
They don't have those. That's not fact, right? But they say in their statements where they were sitting, right? So now what they have to do is they have to piece everything together. If you guys have been following any part of this trial from day 1 to day 8 or 9, whatever it was, I think it was like 9 days. On the 9th day they had the verdict. You will see that Meg Thee Stallion testified. Her defense lawyer tore her up because she said to the police officers that she had glass in her foot when she knew she was shot. She was saying that she didn't want to testify because of Black Lives Matter and stitches get snitches, snitches get stitches, and snitches get stitches or whatever, but then went on IG and snitched anyway, right? Regardless to what her motives are, if you follow the code that snitches get stitches, you would never snitch, right? But she did, right? So that was holes in her story. Kelsey had her story that she had on the day of. Then when she got in court, she said that none of that really happened, or she was lying.
Pleaded the fifth.
Yeah, postpartum traumatization, right? So, and pleaded the fifth, right? So she just waived her right not to speak. So you have all that stuff that you're dealing with as well. So now you have to piece together a story from broken evidence. You have enough to piece together that Megan Thee Stallion was shot. Who she was shot by? She wasn't shot by herself, obviously, right? The bodyguard was never came into question as being the person who shot. So now it comes down
driver.
to the driver. I'm sorry. Came down to either Kelsey or Tory Lanez shot the weapon, right? Nobody had Kelsey as being the person who shot, and Tory Lanez didn't even speak on his own behalf, but defense attorneys spoke on his behalf. So you got to understand that everything that was put in the courts that was challenged against Tory Lanez, his defense lawyers fought against it, and they lost ultimately, right? That doesn't mean that it's right. That doesn't mean that it's wrong or anything like that. That just means that he had these charges placed against him. He had defense attorneys. They failed to make it right, but no matter what, it doesn't matter who the defense attorneys are. You cannot beat the facts. You can't beat the facts that she was shot. You can't beat the facts that they were in the car. You can't beat any of those facts. So now you have to put it together. Somebody shot Meg Thee Stallion. Who was it?
Right.
And the way the evidence is going is Tory Lanez shot Meg Thee Stallion. Basically, I say that to say in my little conclusion, because I've been ranting, right? So I've been ranting.
See, I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my baby. I've been ranting. But I say that to say that everybody needs to, these are high-profile people. These are high-profile celebrities. There's a whole bunch of people that have eyes on the case and are looking like something needs to happen, right? It's not just Joe Schmo and whatever out on the streets. Because at the end of the day, this could have easily have been swept under the rug and both of them walked free because there wasn't enough evidence. But there are people who are protesting in Meg's defense. There are people who are but there are people who are in Tory Lanez's defense saying that he's innocent. You know what I'm saying? So they had to make a decision at the end of the day. That was not.
Nobody's going to be 100% happy with what was said
at all. So they had to make a decision. Then the decision they came to was Tory Lanez was guilty. Both of us feel that Tory Lanez was guilty. Right?
I feel like he shot him.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like he shot her as well. And the reason why I was so upset about this whole thing was the way Meg Thee Stallion carried it. If somebody has a gun and they point it in your direction, I don't care if they're shooting at your feet. I don't care if the gun is completely empty of bullets and they're pointing it at you, a real gun. That person is not for you at all. So this whole snitches get stitches BS and this whole Black Lives Matter BS and this whole I stepped in glass BS, that doesn't fly, right? I understand you say that police are shooting black people or whatever like that. When you were in safe custody and stuff like that, when you were out safe and at the doctors and stuff like that, you could have still have made a statement. You could have retracted your statement, or you could have amended your statement, and you could have made a new one saying that Tory Lanez is the one who shot me. I said it because A, B, and C. I was fearful of my life, this, that, and third. But no, you went on the IG, and now it discredits your how truthful you are. You know, I would never, but I digress.
Yeah, I feel like he's guilty, and my thing was they knew the situation got out of hand, and I feel like at first it was an agreement that they was gonna all stick to one story, and of course Tory Lanez people is trying to get in front of it, and Meg is just like, no, this man shot me. You know, they doing the most, and he shot me. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it was a bad situation. They was all arguing and fighting and drinks was involved, messy situation, and a gun was there as well, and it just took a turn for the worse. So it's unfortunate that all these people's lives have changed by this, but now the verdict is in and Tory is guilty, and we won't find out until January 27th about what his sentencing is. So what y'all think? Leave us in the comments. Let us know what y'all think about Tory, and if he is found guilty, and that he was found guilty, and what y'all think about it.
Right. So do you guys ride with Tory? Do you guys ride with Megan Thee Stallion? Give us your reasons for why.
Right.
And we'll make sure that we read them in the comments and we reply back to them in the comments, because we like to know what you guys think.
Let's go in. Devontae was just going off right now. I feel like it's some stuff he said that I might hop in the comments and say some stuff about him too, because I'm
gonna block him.
You crazy.
I'm gonna block the comments. Yeah, so you guys let us know. We are the Rightly So podcast, and we will be seeing you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for liking. Thank you guys for subscribing.
Yes.
We're out of here.
Peace.
Peace.